Good Wednesday evening, everybody. This is Moocow1980. Welcome to the ALTTPR Enemizer Tournament 2024. As you can see on the screen, we are in the quarterfinals. This is game one between Sailor Nep and KillerApp23. Nep has beaten Sten 2-0, Jjo 2-0, and Bitey 2-1 to get here. KillerApp has yet to lose, sweeping 2-0. The cast of Link to the Past Ken, a Rabid Wombat, and Koi. I am going to be joined today by our wonderful tracker Scoopula, who is also a participant in the tournament. I have released the runners, so we're just waiting for the restream to catch up here. And once they get going, we'll get going. By now, most of you know the rules. Enemies can be shuffled, chaos, boss shuffle. Hopefully everyone's having a good Wednesday night. I was not prepared for comm duty, so I might be taking a few bites of my tomato soup and grilled cheese. And we're getting a glove to start right off the bat in Link's house. I will get our runners synced up here in a moment here, so just bear with me one moment. And there we go. We are all synced up there. Well. 2 gloves very early in this seed. Lost Woods and Link's house. So we just need a pearl for Dark World access. There is a shield for KillerApp. Nep's already gone to the back of Escape. I'm not getting anything really of merit except the key and, of course, an Enemizer. No lamp, no weapon. You're not going to take that key and run to Dark Cross from that spot. While Nep is going into Lost Woods, is going to go ahead and get her mitts. KillerApp goes into the well with no bombs and gets bailed out, never punished. 10 bomb pack. And those bombs lead to a sword in the back of Cack Well. Got a fungus in Blind's hut, and some money as well. Gonna put some bombs, is going to do the reverse order, going to go into Blind's hut, and then turn around and go into Cack Well. Nothing on the bottle merchant today. Chicken Hut just has a little bit of love and a whole lot of chickens. Now, there was a map check earlier as I was getting the runners synced up. So we have a green pendant desert, pendant eastern, and we have a blue crystal tower Hera. So thank you, Scoopula, for grabbing that. Killer App getting a bombos in the back of the tavern. And that's the extent of the CAC routing. Nothing else really of merit. Killer App is just going to head his way down south. Looks like we're going to fake flipper it in and maybe turn in this mushroom now and see if we can get anything out of it. Having a little bit of difficulty there. There we go. And Killer App just turns it in for a piece of heart. Doesn't even do a reset. It's just going to keep that piece of heart. So Nep's actually going to do the southern checks. Killer App's going up in the eastern. And the sword is the big prize in the back of Saha's hut. And there's a moon pearl and the sunken treasure. So there is our Dark World access basically 7 minutes into the game. Some money, health, and bombs. Mini Moldorm Cave. Nep will be going up here and checking out Ice Cave. Does have the means to fake flipper with that pearl if she so desires. Just going to get a 3 hundo piece. The money definitely not an issue for Zora. Bloomerang is a big prize for Nep there. Bloomer. Nep making... Still got the water walk going. KillerApp's going into the Zelda cell. There's a magic cape on Zora. So Nep's going to run over to the eastern area now. KillerApp's going to do the south shore checks, and KillerApp is going to go ahead and get their Moon Pearl at this point. Nep going into the Dark Road. We got a... All I got was a red crystal at Swamp. So the other red is at TR. Meyer is our other pendant. Now Nep got a big key in the middle of Skull Woods and is cashing that in for a bow in the big chest. KillerApp, meanwhile, is checking out things in the village of outcasts. And there is a flute in the brewery. So KillerApp's going to go ahead and enter the Crystal Dungeon Thieves Town. App's going to play a little catch up here. We have a Trinex in Thieves Town, so Ice Rod will be required this seed. I guess if you're going to need the Ice Rod, the best way to find out is first boss you're able to physically check with the compass. Get that information, and then you know. Nep about to get the same information. One item is in the front of Thieves Town. So there are 3 items in the back / boss. They're going to have to come back to the dungeon anyway, so KillerApp's just going to go ahead and nope out. I would expect Nep to do the same. And we're going to get some dig game shenanigans from KillerApp here shortly. Game of Dig Dug ends in a red 20. KillerApp doesn't need it. He's got nearly 1,400 rupees. Heck, Nep's even got nearly 1,200, so they're all good on rupees for this game. Stumpy has Burna. So there's both of the safeties found in this game. KillerApp's made his way over to Height Cave. And there is a book in Height Cave. Nep is going to give Jeremiah a little bit of a tour. Get her sick kit check after the fluid activation, which is nothing to speak of. This will get us up to the mountain, where we have some logic. This old man rescue is not part of that logic, but it looks like the enemies are going to cooperate. So KillerApp will be able to go ahead and get the old man home. Unfortunately, the old man just given a little bit of a tip. No items of value. There is a tempered sword sitting on the top of Spec Rock and an arrow of destiny inside Spec Rock. Hammer is on the Smith turn-in. So Nep has a hammer. Nep's going to get the bad news about the mushroom here not being much. KillerApp has made a way into the mire area. If we need to access mire, it is bombos, so it can be entered. Again, it is a pendant. Hopefully it's something that these runners do not have to touch. There is the bug net in the mire shack for KillerApp, while Nep is going to go ahead and follow suit. There is a blue armor on Desert Ledge. They do have the means to enter into desert if they so desire, and it looks like KillerApp's going to do some desert work, probably over to Agena. Desert being green pendant, no fire source to defeat it. They're not even going to worry about it. Blue armor can stay there for a little bit longer. The Nep has her Dark World access and is just going to go ahead and meander on up the pod. KillerApp taking the Dark World portal. Looks like it's going to be a Skull Woods play. So that I net a bow and arrow, which Nep did pick up earlier. Just adjusting something in the background here, so I apologize for the silence there. Just adjusting. Nep hasn't gotten anything in pod as of yet. KillerApp's about to turn in and get the hammer here. There are the flippers for Nep. Neb's making her way back to the boss. KillerApp has decided to go into the dark world, maybe going up to Pyramid. Do want to apologize for the silence there. We're trying to get the sound sync fixed. We synced the runners up in time, then all of a sudden, the sound desynced, and we have no idea why. Gotta love technology sometimes, right, folks? But I think we're finally starting to get it down. Have ourselves a blind fight going on here in Pod. Nothing on Pyramid Ledge. Nep finally gets that first crystal of the game for either side as the clock's ticking into the 32nd minute. I think we finally got the sound sync fixed, so hopefully that's a little bit better for everybody. So kind of catch up there. Nep cleared out Pod. And got a Quake and Flippers. And Scopula, if we can get the tracker corrected there. Pod was the clear out. Thieves Town cannot be cleared at this time because, for those tuning in, Thieves Town is our Trinex. So we definitely are on an ice rod hunt this seed. I didn't catch the first chest of Eastern there. But the second chest is a heart. Question in chat, SMSU is Donkey Kong Country for KillerApp23. There's the big key for KillerApp. Nep about to open a spike chest, and it's nothing. So KillerApp is skipping the back chest and going to the back again. I did not see what the first chest was in Eastern, so I don't know if KillerApp got all three items. KillerApp and Nep got their bow in Skull Woods. We got a Helmosaur in Eastern. This should be no problem for KillerApp. So that's the first cleared dungeon for KillerApp. Unfortunately, it is a pendant. We don't have any indication that this is a ped seed at this time. So the value of that is to be determined. KillerApp, meanwhile, is going to go ahead and flute down to 5, get into the pod area. Nep is dead-ending the current route at Agena. Nep's going to go into ice, it appears. Or check Hobo. You get a guess going, and she goes the other way. But we hadn't seen this check, so that's fine. And it's the fire rod. So that was a good call to head up and say hello to Mr. Hobo. So Nep is going to go ahead and turn this fire rod discovery into likely a dip into the back of Skull Woods and get that dungeon cleared up. While Nep's on our way to some fresh checks, and KillerApp is going on some existing checks we know about. Go ahead and give these runners a follow. And there are the links for Scupula and myself if you so desire. Again, game 1 of the quarterfinals. The other side of their quarterfinal bracket is Magnet Hands versus Shady Force, which that has yet to start. That actually starts tomorrow. And Nep and KillerApp have a game 2 tomorrow night. Definitely be getting those restreams, so we encourage you to stay tuned to the SpeedGaming channels. Nep's on her way to the back of Skull Woods. Got some land mollusk action going on in the Moldorm, or not Moldorm Arena, but Moth Arena. Nep uses Fire Rod and Magic to get rid of that, and picks up another crystal. Nep gonna restock on some potions here. Now that we got the Fire Rod discovery and all that out of the way, now this should be going into ice. Burner coming in a little bit handy there for KillerApp. You have it, why not use it? So that finally gets KillerApp on the crystal scorecard in the 43rd minute. KillerApp going to clean up the rest of the dungeon. I've had a little bit of issue there cleaning out the enemies. Hinox probably going to have to destroy that enemy because those bombs are just going to flip those crystal switches like crazy. No Samaria in Ice Palace, so we get to see, I guess, what you call the old school tactic now, the Ice Palace bomb jump. There was a day and a time where that was all the rage, and then Icebreaker was found. Now IPBJ is just an old school trick. But still extremely useful. And Nep nails it right away. Invictus Rage mentioning IPBJ and Enemizer can be awkward if there's a floating enemy. There is a race that I calmed that I discovered that for the first time. That was a learning experience for me because no one could pull it off. So that is how I learned of it. And hey, speaking of Samaria, big chest in Ice Palace. That is our first item of Ice Palace, in fact. Second item ice, red rupee. KillerApp about to get his fire rod. Ooh, Trinex in the very bottom of Ice Palace, so we have a double Trinex seed at least. Nep's gonna go do the front of Escape. KillerApp's going to the back of Skullwoods to clean that out. So we are seeing some checks that we've seen on each other's side at this point. So just going to kind of recap here while we're stepping over some old checks left to right. For Crystal Dungeons, Tower of Hera, we don't have any access at this point. No mirror, no hookshot. Obviously, hookshot is key because we need that to be able to defeat Swamp Palace. Thieves Town and Ice Palace require an ice rod at this point because we found 2 Trinexes. And TR, we have a 67% chance of being able to get into TR. But if it's Ether, we're on a hunt for Ether. No lamp has been found yet. These runners don't need lamp. They can navigate pretty well by themselves. But lamp would be nice to have. We don't know if boots are going to be needed. Wouldn't that be a kick in the pants if you get all the way to GT and boom, big key on torch. But that's pretty much where we're at. And that last item of Eastern that I had missed way earlier was the first item, so there was no need to go to the back to the vanilla big key chest. Meanwhile, KillerApp is going in the desert. They will have the option to pick up the blue armor on Desert Ledge if they so desire. We're going to go ahead and see if this is boots locked and what we get out of here. Well, there's the big key. See what's on the torch. Torch is the small key, so dungeon is defeatable. But if we have necessary items over on the right side, we would, there's the hook shot. We would then need to have the boots, which with one item there in the big chest, who knows what is on the right side now. So that gives us our Eastern Death Mountain access here. In the 52nd minute of the seed, Nep's about to pick up that same information here on Desert, and we'll get her hook shot. The KillerApp's going to give us the first look at Paradox Cave. Nothing in Paradox lower. Nep going to find out that the right side of Desert is closed off to boots. And it's about to get her hook shot. Just a bottle in the left side of Paradox Upper. And there's your lamp. KillerApp will likely go ahead and give us a view of the floating island here, and then probably, which is floating islands, nothing, probably parlay that in a Hera at this point. We do have the book. So this will give us an ether tablet check as well. Samaria was in the Ice Palace Big Chest, to answer a question in chat. Alright, so there's our small key and Hera basement front. And there's our big key. So we're just going to go ahead and Hera pot our way up. Really digging this music for Tower Hero. This again, the Donkey Kong Country MSU on KillerApp side. Cold Stare at the top of Tower of Hera. And the boots. So there's one item in Tower of Hera. There's a map and an item left over in this dungeon. And if our runners are fortunate, that item will just appear right here on Cold Stare. 2 puffs down for KillerApp. Just going to play it cool, calm, and collective here. Nothing fancy. And Cold Stare is no more. Unfortunately, that is the map, so there is an item in Hera Basement. We'll see what KillerApp decides. KillerApp is saying, I want that item. And I'm just fine with this play because it gives me more of this Tower of Hera music that I like. Give you a little bit of a head bob going here. Ooh, KillerApp did not get the invincibility spot off there. It was just off the square and landed inside the crystal switch blocks. We'll turn it into an advantage though. I'm gonna death warp out of this. Hopefully there's a good enemy that'll take off more than that. It's just gonna be shadows. And thank God for his death warp purposes that piece of heart did not offer a refill, because that would have been bad. Nonetheless, the Tower Hera Basement is a big rip. Mirror would have been nice right there. Could have picked up that tempered sword that's sitting there on the top of Spec Rock. Obviously need to mirror for Swamp Palace too. We're going to see if we have our medallion. Do we have it for TR? It is a double Bombo seed today, so he's going to go ahead, open that one up. Now, KillerApp has not been to Ice Palace, therefore does not have the Samaria. Nep has been to Ice Palace and has picked up the Samaria. So we'll keep an eye out on Nep's side. I can easily see a dip coming up in the future here. Meanwhile, KillerApp's going to go ahead and run one over to Hookshot Cave. Nep's going to follow in tow. There's the red meringue. And there is Tempered Sword. So that sword on top of Spec Rock may stay there. It's just going to be the gold sword, and there's not that big of a difference at that point. With those boots, this opens up King's Tomb for KillerApp. Nep is rushing back to TR. King's Tomb has nothing. Some Bonk Rocks checks too. He looks like he's going to dash back to. Nep's going to go ahead and give us that dip of TR. Just giving us a key to start off in TR. I'm going to go ahead to the Fire Rod side here. Now, KillerApp is going to make a Meyer play. Helma is in TR, so we don't have to worry about the boss there. Not sure I would have done this play if I were in KillerApp's shoes. I personally would have gone to Ice just because Ice is the crystal, Mire is a pendant, and Mire isn't even a green pendant. Plus, you don't have Samaria, so you can't even beat this dungeon if you wanted to. Nep has the big key of TR, but you're still needing items for go mode. You need that mirror. You need that ice rod. So you're going to check this. KillerApp did get a big heart. I do not believe we've had an item on Nep's side yet in TR. It's been all keys and the compass. But there is that item. Big heart. Well, KillerApp got an armor upgrade. Red 20 for Nep. So that Mire play was a strikeout for KillerApp. Well, this crystal roller just giving her some fits there. She's gonna have to go over and pick up this magic pot. So 5 items in TR. She's got 2 of them. And there's a map still outstanding. There's 1 item, so there's 2 items left. There's the map. One of these will be a key, so there's an item on the boss. There's the shovel. There's your key. So we have a shovel on TR Laser Bridge. And we're going to have an item on Helmasaur to close the item hunt out in TR. Again, we're looking at a Helmasaur, so boss should easily go down. A KillerApp is not going to be able to defeat this dungeon. Again, Trinex. One of the 2 Trinexes we know about, Thieves Town and Ice Palace. There is the Cane of Samaria in the big chest, so KillerApp, he will be getting that if he proceeds all the way through. Nep is playing it very dangerously here. And gets through 1 heart. That was some Monka moment there. And she gets magic powder out of that. So, do you like fetch quests? Because TR Just whet your appetite for them. Do a little digging, do a little batting. That is a 4th crystal, though. For Nep. Get us over to Nep's audio. I went ahead and switched it there, since Nep is technically leading at this point. The Omori MSU. Nep getting the word at Aga Lumberjack Ledge was just bombs. Magic bat check. Just some money. Just a piece of heart on the shovel. And now Nep is going into fire. Now we know that Nep will get her blue armor and a full heart, but we'll be able to actually defeat the dungeon. In answer to, or respond to a comment in chat of Desert being doable with the boots. Desert was already doable, and if there's an item on the boss, the boots don't matter for Desert. Because we did get the hook shot in Desert earlier, and the second item could very well be on the boss, which leaves map and compass on the right side. Now, obviously, we don't know what the boss of Desert is, because we don't have that compass, but it is, in theory, a dungeon that could be defeated. We haven't gotten a ped read yet, to answer a question in chat, but as you ask that question, look on KillerApp side of the screen and enjoy the fun with us. Womp womp, just couch cash. Sorry about that, ped people. I know you really wanted that to be something, but unfortunately it is not going to be. KillerApp is likely making the TR play here, having just picked up that Canis Samaria. Nep. is going to get pretty much nothing out of this dungeon. So we're going to take this time to go ahead and put their links up in chat. Please give them a follow. They are in the quarterfinals for a reason. They are both very good runners. They would appreciate the support. If you want to follow myself or you want to go ahead and follow our wonderful tracker, Scopula, those links are there as well. And I will throw into chat the information on the Enemizer tournament so you can keep up on the happenings. So we know Eastern is not the answer. You can't beat Thieves Town, you can't beat Ice Palace, although you can do the back of Thieves Town. There's 3 items sitting in Thieves Town we don't know about. Myers is Wipeout. We can't do Swamp at all. We don't have a mirror. So this is Nep going to go in and take on that desert play. Comment in chat. Back of Thieves Town is kind of weird at this point. Yeah. I mean, the mirror and Ice Rod could legitimately both be in the back of Thieves Town. Which would just... it would feel weird. In the meantime, Nep did go ahead and bonk that key off the torch, so we're going to go ahead and see what's on the right side here. Now, Desert being a green pendant, killing the boss, if it's possible, of course. And there's the other item, a shield. So there's both items in Desert. But if you want to take your gamble on the boss, that green pendant could still have value. We don't know. Map and compass all that's left in the dungeon, and Nep skipped the check over on the right side when it got the second item. Nep is not going to go for the red mail. You can defeat any enemy except Trinex. So the odds are Nep was saying, I don't care if that's potentially the compass on the right side. I'm just running back here and seeing what I can find. And we'll see what she gets. And it's Mothula. This is beatable. This will merit the green pendant. And it was the map on the right side, so she'd have had to do this either way. She would not have known what the boss was. Compass being the prize for beating Mothula. Well, at this point, you pull out that flute, you go to 5, and you see what Saha gives you. KillerApp still making her way through TR. Which we know is not going to be the final answers for him. And it's just a piece of heart on the green pendant. Boy, that back of Thieves Town sure is feeling like something now, isn't it? Although I will throw out there, I still have it marked on my tracker. This is a ped check for Nep, just so she gets that information. according to my tracker, I don't recall anyone went to Dark Cross. If they did, I flat out missed it and I apologize. But I don't have anyone going to Dark Cross. I've seen him go to the front. I've seen him go to the back. I just don't remember Dark Cross. See what other one-offs I got here. Did we ever get a Spiral Cave check? I'm almost positive we got a Spiral Cave check, but I just don't remember it. Either Spiral. Okay, thank you. Good question on Cross Dave's part about the castle map. I don't know. I was messing with getting the sound and everything corrected on the stream at some point, so it could very well be the map. I know they found the key. I just don't know about the map. So it is possible Dark Cross could be dead. In the meantime, I don't think we checked Catfish either. Or did we? I think we did check Catfish. Yeah, we did check Catfish. We did. There's your ice rod in the attic of Thieves Town. So that opens up the ability to defeat Thieves Town and Ice Palace. But we need a mirror because we cannot get into Crystal Swamp Palace. Pyramid Ledge was nothing. I can tell you that. KillerApp, I believe, did Pyramid Ledge and did Catfish. Net may have done Catfish. I'm not really sure. But well, there is a piece of heart. So there is an item on Trinex here in Thieves Town, which we can now defeat. Just a piece of heart. So unfortunately, the full puzzle is not completed here in Thieves Town, but we did get a vital item. We definitely do have an item left in Ice Palace. Could very well be on the boss. So we'll see if that's what Nep does next. KillerApp's just going back and doing some of the fetch quest checks here. Thanks to getting everything in TR. I love the item dash with the shovel. KillerApp with the style points. Nep is going back in the Ice Palace. Okay, someone in chat saying map was in Dark Cross, so go ahead and mark that off of our list. Looks like still have that one outstanding item here in ice. We're definitely running out of checks, so this mirror has to be showing up soon. The only one I don't have a record of is if we saw Bumper Cave. Bumper was money, thank you. So mirror has to be showing up here. And there it is. Because that was the only other check that was left on my map as we process of elimination everything. So go mode as we hit 1:23 on the timer. Well, this is going to bring us into Swamp. So in the end, really, when they first dipped Thieves Town way back when in the seed, if they'd have just gone to the back side of it, they didn't want to. They didn't have hammer. I understand it. I'm not faulting the play to skip at that point. But they would have had their ice rod. They still would have had to go back to Thieves Town at that point. But they could have single dipped ice. And would have gotten that mirror significantly sooner. Would have changed a lot of things of how this seed ended up playing out. Because your fire rod was on Hobo, so all you had to do was make sure to get the Hobo first before you dipped Ice Palace. But that's neither here nor there. Neither of our runners went to the back of Thieves Town to start. Now Nep is about to go in here to the boss. Looks like we have another land mow. There is a full heart. There is crystal number 7. So it is that time. Get your guesses in chat. 1 through 22. Where do you think the GT Big Key is going to be located in the tower? The winner just gets infinite randomized Enemizer seeds. I will go with my traditional guess of 9. Meanwhile, KillerApp has picked up their ice rod during the time that Nep was fighting the boss. Nep dashing on over to GT. She is almost in. So once she is in, we will end the guessing game. So if you have not guessed your location on the GT guessing game, please do so right now. And we're cutting it off now. Nep heads to the hope at, well, it's number 1. And Wildfang wins. Well, that was easy. Nep's just going over to get her key. And she's going to start to climb. So the way things are looking at this point, Nep is already on the climb. KillerApp still has to complete Ice Palace. It still has to complete Swamp Palace. I don't want to wish on anybody the amount of in-game catastrophes that would have to happen for KillerApp to win. As long as Nep stays the course, she is A-okay at this point. Gauntlet not looking too bad here. Pretty easy enemy smooth sailing for Nep here. This Hinox is probably the toughest enemy, and even that got dispatched pretty quick. Yeah, not a problem at all. We have a Trinex and GT2. Again, no problem for having Tempered Sword. Oh yes, everyone's favorite inopportune place spike in the Four Torches room. But Nep gets through it. Going to pick up the full magic here as the sprites completely disintegrate. Picks up the key that's needed. She's not even checking for silver arrows. Does not care about silver arrows. I'm going to dispatch this Viddy. And the last enemy room of the game. Nothing. Nice 3-hit first round there. 2 hits on the second round. Just needs one more, and there it is. 3, 2, 1 contact. Nep quickly into phase 2, and should be into phase 3 at this point. Very quick Ganon fight so far. No teleports at all in phase 3. Silvers were in GT. You could not ask for a much quicker cooperation of Ganon, the way this fight's gone. It is going to be a spin to win. And there it is. Explosions on the screen. All you have to do is cross the bridge, Nep, and you take game 1 because your GG's in chat for Sailor Nep. She finishes this race in a time of 1 hour, 36 minutes, 21 seconds. We will get him in here for interviews. KillerApp does finish this fight and then forfeits at that point. So Sailor Nep It's going to go ahead and take the 1-0 lead. And we are joined in the booth by Sailor Nep. GG's Nep on your race today. Okay, Nep, we can't hear you if you're there.
Sorry about that. I should be coming through now.
Yeah, it's loud and clear. Again, GG's on your victory today.
Thanks for the GGs. I guess the strongest feeling I had there was I turned in the green pendant, and when I got nothing, mentally I wanted to forfeit. But it is my policy that I'm just like, as long as the other person isn't done, I'm gonna keep going just in case.
That was definitely a good call on your part because you would have thrown away a victory by doing that.
Yeah, that was... I can't picture what must have happened for me to have pulled out the win there, but I'll at least say that I felt like I played well. It was just there were a lot of decisions in the seed that were very unclear, and I made a lot of the wrong ones.
So, just to check on one thing here, KillerApp unfortunately will not be joining us for interview, so it'll just be you and me wrapping everything up here tonight. But that Thieves Town, you know, I was mentioning that if you would have just gone to the back of Thieves Town the first time in, you got in your ice rod, you would have had to re-dip Thieves Town anyway to get once you got your fire rod, but you could have like single dipped ice, you could have like cleaned out things a little bit quicker. So I'm sure getting that ice rod there kind of had to feel kind of like a, well, if I would have only known, I would have just done this in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Which is funny because thinking about it in my last race, I got progression there, going back there for just one item. This case, there were potentially three, but it was a little more complicated than that because there were things like I didn't have the hammer yet, and then by the time I did have the hammer, it was just kind of tempting to never want to go there.
And for the most part, the two of you kind of followed each other around. It wasn't like anyone really took what I called a wild decision to do something that was just like, why are you doing this type thing? It just, you know, what one did, the other one would soon follow. It's just the fact is you went to ice first. Once you got your fire rod, you went to ice. And even though you couldn't defeat it that first time around, obviously, you still got the Samaria, which enabled you to be able to go up and go into TR, clear that out, get that taken care of, and you were really, by process of elimination, just able to get the seed down to the fact of, okay, I have 2 crystal dungeons left. I don't have, you know, any other choice, but this is going to be my path.
Yeah, more or less. I know that did end up setting me a mountain trip in the end. Getting the hook as late as I did kind of also left me feeling like I wanted to cut out some time-wasting decks like Harassment and Spiral Cave, and that's also why I just hard committed against Pyramid Legend Catfish, because by that point, like, if it's any of those spots, then I am just impossibly far behind, so... I'm just gonna commit to how I have played and keep going and see if maybe I see the dot come in. But it was still, I was still just full of dread after I dove all repentance to get nothing. I was just like, that's it.
And even checking ped and it's not ped, and checking Aga Ledge and it's nothing, and, you know, it just kind of didn't seem like anything was paying off. And literally it was by the time that you went to ice, that was hard last location at that point for your go mode. There was nowhere else you could have gone for your mirror. It was, if it wasn't on the Ice Palace boss, the game was glitched. That's how hard of a last location that ended up being.
I did commit to skipping those 4 spots, so from my perspective, it still could have been in those spots, but I'm guessing those already been seen on the restream.
Yeah, that's how, I guess I should clarify that. Collective view, the Ice Palace boss was a hard last location, because we had seen every single thing else. So, well, another win in this tournament, and you are going to be going back at it tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern for Game 2. Your opponents that are waiting on the other side, should you advance, are Shady Force and Magnet Hands. They don't get started till tomorrow. They have a 4 o'clock game tomorrow, Eastern time. So we're going to hopefully get some restreams of those 2 games tomorrow. And on that note, do you have anything else that you would like to add about this Cedar race tonight?
I guess this is just a good example of seeds where you can have a good strategy and you're doing things that make sense, but the seed just has other plans for you. But you know, that's part of the fun of rando, and sometimes it feels bad, but you just walk it off and play the next one. That's how I see it. This one was rough. Like I said, even though I won, you know, it felt like, whoa, that was a disaster. Not in terms of my play, but just very tough to make the right calls in this scene.
But it is over with, and you did get the victory, and you're just 1 win away from advancing yourself into the semifinals. So we will definitely be staying tuned, and we'll see if you can, you know, complete the quarterfinals tomorrow night.
I'll give it my best, but I can't make any promises, you know. KillerApp is very, very difficult opponents to go up against. I feel in some sense I must have gotten very lucky tonight, but I'm gonna just keep going, see how it goes.
All right. Well, in the chat there are links to give our runners a follow, both SailorNub and KillerApp23. You can also give links to myself and Scupula if you wish to follow us. Also information on Enemizer tournament. Again, we have a double header tomorrow, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Shady Force Magnet Hands game 1 of the quarterfinals, and then Nep and KillerApp will meet in their quarterfinal game 2 at 8 p.m. We hope to get those games on the SpeedGaming family of networks, so please stay tuned to the schedule. Until then, Nep, just, you know, once again, GG's on your victory. This has been Moocow1980, and thank you all for tuning in. You have a wonderful night, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.